NBA players are often revered by their fans and celebrated like Greek gods. Their performances on the courts can lead to some of the most exhilarating moments in sports history, and most of the public exposure that players get is often very positive. However, these athletic gods, which have been put on this pedestal, certainly aren't infallible, and like the rest of us, are prone to making mistakes. So stay tuned and don't go away, because we're bringing you the dumbest things NBA players have done off the court. First up, who's the bad boy of the NBA who's made some dumb mistakes? Let's take a look. We're talking about Dennis Rodman. Rodman has been arrested so many times before, during, and after his career that it's difficult to keep them straight. In fact, at one time, he was voted most likely to be arrested in the NBA. It's sort of like an MVP award for criminality. Rodman's rap sheet is straight up ridiculous and probably spans the length of an official-sized basketball court. He's been arrested for domestic violence, driving while intoxicated, obstructing justice, domestic dispute, and at his home in Newport Beach, California, the police were called to his home more than 70 times for noise violations. Another player who's no stranger to dumb is James Worthy. Worthy was arrested in 1990 as part of a police sting and dragnet for soliciting prostitution in Houston. At the time, Worthy was one of the most visible stars in the league on one of the hottest teams in the NBA. This dumb mistake was really embarrassing for the league, Worthy's team, and Worthy himself. Allen Iverson, aka The Answer, played 14 seasons in the NBA, and like the others on this list, he's made some stupid mistakes off the court. When he was only 17, Iverson was charged and convicted for being part of a maiming by mob. And when people are young, they can make mistakes, so that's excusable. But his dumbest and most embarrassing arrest came in 2002 when he was 27 years old. In this incident, Iverson was charged with assault, weapons offenses, and even terroristic threats for allegedly throwing his wife out of the house during a fight. He also reportedly threatened two men with a gun while he was looking for her. Next up, are there other players who have done dumber things than the players we've just talked about? Oh, you betcha. We're just getting started. Deshaun Stevenson is an interesting case. He's undeniable proof that some of the egos of NBA players make their heads balloon so big that they feel like they can do anything. Stevenson was arrested, charged, and convicted of statutory rape. In 2001, as a rookie with the Utah Jazz, he admitted to taking a 14-year-old girl back to his hotel room, getting her drunk, and having consensual sex with her. He's had to live with the rape case hanging over his head ever since. When Stevenson joined the Dallas Mavericks, he was often taunted by fans and other players as a result. Another player who's no stranger to making stupid mistakes is, believe it or not, Sir Charles Barkley. Prior to his MVP season in 1993, Barkley was arrested twice for fighting off the court. He once broke a man's nose during a fight after a game against the Milwaukee Bucks, and was swiftly arrested for throwing a man through a plate glass window after he threw a glass of ice at him. Following the publicity surrounding these arrests, Barkley spoke with members of the press and said, "I'm not a role model." Barkley wanted to make the point that parents should take a more active role in ensuring that their children know how to behave properly. Up next, is it possible to have a career in the NBA while being arrested 832 times? Of course it is. Look no further than Isaiah Ryder. Ryder was arrested roughly 832 times while he was in the NBA. We're dead serious. It's not a joke. Clearly, Ryder's done too many dumb things to list here. However, what's more astonishing than Ryder's rap sheet, though, is the fact that the NBA allowed him to remain in the league for so long. While on the Minnesota Timberwolves, Ryder was convicted of assault for kicking a manager at a sports bar, was arrested for weed more times than Snoop Dogg, Willie Nelson, and Cheech and Chong combined. He's also been charged with being in possession of illegal cell phones and has had numerous public gambling charges laid against him. And somehow, after all that, he made his way onto the Portland Trail Blazers, aka the Jail Blazers. In all, Ryder played 9 seasons in the league and left a bad taste in the mouths of every team that tried to help him turn his life around. And who can forget Boston Celtics player Charles Smith? Smith was arrested for his involvement in a pair of hit-and-run incidents. Back in 1991, Smith drove drunk, struck, and killed 2 Boston University students. He was subsequently convicted of vehicular manslaughter and sentenced to 4.5 years in state prison. He was released after serving only 28 months. Stay tuned and don't go away, because we're bringing you more of the dumbest things NBA players have done off the court. Next up, did the NBA go downhill with the departure of Michael Jordan? Let's have a look. In the late 90s, fans watched as Michael Jordan walked off the court forever. They saw an NBA lockout, and generally, thuggish behavior turned fans away from the NBA. After Jordan left the sport, it was all downhill from there. Well, at least for a while. The Lakers brought fans back, and people were excited for the new generation of players entering the league. One such player was Jason Kidd. Kidd seemed to be nice, well-rounded young man and a player, and was a hard worker for the New Jersey Nets. When he was convicted of domestic abuse in 2001, it was obviously damaging to his reputation. And when he filed for a divorce from his wife in 2007, he said that she was extremely jealous and would constantly threaten to call the police, falsely charge him with domestic abuse. These claims seemed to repair Kidd's image in the public eye, and it helped to recover his image. While Isaiah Ryder holds the record for most NBA player arrests, Ruben Patterson's crimes weren't just dumb, they were viral. Back in 2001, Patterson pled guilty to trying to rape his child's nanny in September 2000. Patterson was forced to register as a sex offender, which left a dark mark on himself and the league. Up next, what are the dumbest and most serious things that NBA players have done off the court? You're about to find out. Jason Williams, the player for the former New Jersey Nets, was given a tour of his mansion to some of the members of his charity team while playing with a shotgun. Allegedly, the shotgun went off and killed his limo driver, Kostas Christofi. Williams ultimately settled a wrongful death case with the driver's family and paid damages of $2.5 million. He was also convicted in 2010 of aggravated assault and ordered to serve a 5-year sentence. Another NBA player, Antoine Walker, is no stranger to doing dumb things off the court. Walker was arrested multiple times for writing bad checks because of his huge debts at Las Vegas Caesars Palace. This case was also particularly embarrassing for the NBA David Stern and the NBA Players Association because they clearly did a poor job of teaching their players some basic money management skills to young men who happen to be multimillionaires. This is the same reason that so many players in the NBA who have made millions of dollars in their very short time spans end up broke after they retire. Allen Iverson, who made mountains of money in the NBA, was essentially broke after his divorce and retirement. Finally, the top dumbest things NBA players have done off the court. Back in the 1960s, it was no secret that Jack Molinas, the former Fort Wayne Piston, was arrested for his involvement in fixing games in college. Molinas was said to have been involved in a point-shaving scandal at Columbia University. While playing at CU, Molinas and his teammates would routinely bet on games and even bet against their own team. Molinas was booted out of the NBA less than a year into his career for allegedly betting on games, and his connections to the Mafia led to his arrest in 1961 and ultimately his murder in 1972. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And if it weren't for the death of Len Bias from cocaine use, Fast Eddie Johnson would likely have been the face of the cocaine years in the NBA. Johnson's insatiable appetite for cocaine use and his utter refusal to kick the habit led to his expulsion from the league in 1987, which then led to a downward cocaine spiral of epic proportions. Think Charlie Sheen times 10. Johnson was reportedly arrested more than 100 times between his expulsion in 1987 and 2006 for charges ranging from petty theft to drug possession. Johnson was also held for the alleged rape of an 8-year-old girl. In 2008, Johnson was convicted of sexual battery on a child under the age of 12, which led to a life sentence without parole. He went from being the #1 pick of the 1977 NBA draft to an all-star player to being a complete and utter train wreck. What a waste. That's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe.